CEOs, do you ever feel like you and your sales leader are not on the same page? We get that a lot. My name is Gary Braun. I am with Pivotal Advisors, and that's our topic today. And we've worked across literally hundreds of companies and thousands of salespeople and sales leaders. And this happens a lot more than it should. And how do we get to out of alignment, I should say? The answer is pretty simple. We have expectations that are not really clear to the sales leader that we're working with, and we don't talk to them enough about it when we get out of whack. So the answer is pretty simple. Let's get super clear on our expectations, so we don't hear things like, "Why don't they just execute the plan?" Or we hear things like, "Why don't they take more initiative? Why aren't they more strategic?" Well, let me ask you: did you set that expectation with them in the first place? Did you talk to them about what their role should be? And too many times we hear from the CEO, "Well, they should know that. They're a sales leader." Guess what? Not all sales leaders are the same. Some sales leaders are really good at in the field, working deals, coaching, executing. Some are good at setting strategy, figuring out the next market. Some are in between there, and there's probably a dozen different types of sales leaders in between. Were you clear on what you hired them for and what their role was? Did you sit down and talk to them about, here's where you should spend your time, here's what I want you to do, here's the information I want you to bring to me, here's the level of information, this is how often we should talk? Too many times we go into organizations and those conversations have not happened. Simple things like, what are they authorized to do or not to do? Can they hire and fire people, or do you need to be involved? Can they change budget? Can they buy things? Can they change how the organization's laid out, or you need to be involved with that? We call it an ask, do, tell. What are the things you need to ask me about? What are the things you just go do? What are the things you can do, but tell me about them? So that's a great conversation on the front end. But too often we don't have it, and then we get mad at them because they're not living up to these expectations that we've never talked about in the first place. So that's part of it. And we can really get off kilter if we don't have that discussion. The next part is, how often do we talk about it? Now, in an ideal situation, we sit down every week, and this one-on-one too often either doesn't happen or it gets blown off a lot because the sales leader gets busy or you as the CEO get busy. That is a recipe for misalignment, because the farther we go, the more we get apart before we talk. And then if we do talk, sometimes we just talk about what's going on with this deal, what's going on with that deal, what's going on with this person, what's going on with that issue. But we never sit down and talk about, here's the expectation for revenue, here's how we're doing, what are we going to do about it? Here's the expectation for hiring or people development, here's how we're doing. We don't take the time to go through and really analyze what's working, what's not working, what changes do we need to make. So the answer is pretty simple. Let's get really clear on our expectations with that person. Go through the ask, do, tell. Talk about the different things you want them focused on. Make sure you're on the same page. And two, talk about how you're doing. If they're doing a great job, tell them you're doing a great job. We are on the right track. If they're not meeting expectations, talk about that and make them come up with what's your plan to get back on track so we are meeting expectations. It's not hard, but we get busy and we get distracted, and then we don't do it, and then we get upset because we've done this and we're not on the same page, and then we fire sales leaders and we hire new ones. Let's avoid that situation. If you're having a situation like this and you want to just chat about it and get ideas on how you can do better, give us a call. Go to our website, pivataladvisors.com. Give us a call, send us an email, do something along those lines. Love to talk to you about that. That's what we deal with every day. If you like this video, please click like, subscribe so you can see more like this, and I thank you for watching.